Hi everyone and welcome back. I think you've all done really well so far, so I'm going to show you just another couple of things before we make a figure. So I thought you had all done so well with your roses, so I'm going to show you how just to make the centre of a rose, because what we've been doing so far, you know, it's a kind of lump in the middle. It doesn't look the way a rose would look. So I'm just going to use a bit of yellow for this and just show you how to make a more realistic centre on the rose. So I'm taking a bit of icing and I'm kind of rolling it into a kind of more of a kind of sausage shape rather than round. I'm going to use my dusting bag as usual in there. Into your bag with the flower marked on it, squeeze it down, and we're going to thin all the way along the side and top like that. And then we're going to take it out. So before, if you remember, what we did with the rose was we just had a kind of cone thing like this standing up. So what we're going to do this time for the centre is you can see we've got this thick at the bottom and very, very thin on the top. Now what you want to do is fold this edge over towards the bottom. So we're going to fold that down like that, and then we're going to do the same, fold this one across it and down and wrap it round. And then you can just do what you did before and kind of thin it out at the bottom. But you can see that's a nicer centre than the big lump. So there you go. Hope you can do that. And the other thing is I'm going to be supplying you with paper bags like this, which are going to have your royal icing in them. So I'm just going to show you quickly how to make them yourself if you wanted to do something you didn't happen to have icing bags handy. So what I'm using is just normal greaseproof paper, and what I do is I take that, roll it out, and I'm going to cut a rectangle in that. So I'm pushing that out of the way, cut a rectangle, and I'm just going to use a knife, if you can see that, just to run that along there to cut this. And I'm going to take my rectangle and I'm going to make two kind of wonky triangles of this. So I'm going to fold this edge up to the top there. So you can see you've got a triangle underneath and a triangle on top, and both of them have got a kind of funny corner edge on them. And then I'm going to cut a nice line along there. You might do it with scissors. I like to do it with a knife, even though it doesn't always tear to start with. So we're just going to take one of these, and I know because we are making a pointy bag, you're going to think that's the end, but it's not. You want it this way. And we're going to fold this funny edge with the corner over, up the middle, and twist it round like that. And then I'm going to push that down firmly there and hold it there. Take the other end and wrap it all the way around. And when I get it round to the other side, I'm going to just pull. Push my hand in like that and keep all three bits together and pull. So I'm pulling up this side here. A bit more. And you'll see now you've got a nice point on there. And then you just fold that tail down and just fold the rest of it inside. And that holds it. And then you tend to store them this way, you kind of tuck them inside each other. So there you've got paper bags. A lot of practice on that. A lot of people find it very difficult to do. So we're going to make a figure as we discussed this morning. I will supply you with a template. So we're going to have feet, trousers, a kind of hoodie top, that's the hood for it, hands, neck, head, and some hair. Because I know you've already done this, I'm not actually going to use the template myself, but you know how to use that to get your sizes right. So I'm going to start with the jeans. Now, just to let you know, because you were saying this morning that the icing was a bit soft, and so I've actually added some of this to, I don't know which way this shows this, but this is called Tylo powder, just to show you what it's like. And I've added maybe about 2 teaspoonfuls to a kilo block of each of this and rubbed it in just dry. And you'll notice it makes your icing, it does make it a wee bit more crumbly if you keep overusing it, but it makes your icing a bit stronger and it will set harder. So I'm going to start by making the jeans. So I'm taking blue for this, I'll just show you actually everything that we need for this. I've got icing, I've got it in skin tone, I've got red for the hoodie, white for the eyes, yellow I don't need. I've got a little bit of brown for the hair, black for the shoes and the centres of the eyes. And I'm going to use my knife, and I'm going to use my bamboo skewer, the pointy end and the round end. I've also used, I've got this as a food colouring, this is for painting the eyelashes and eyebrows on, and a little thin brush for doing that. It's unlikely you've got that in the house, but I was saying maybe to try using some instant coffee with a drip of water in it to make a really thick paste, and you might be able to paint with that. So we'll start again. Right, so this is going to be our jeans. So I'm going to roll this into quite a long sausage. And I'm making it slightly thinner. This bit here is going to be our 2 feet ends, and this is going to be the bottoms. So I'm going to cut that in half and line it up, see if they're about the same size. I'm going to just take a tiny wee bit off of that. I'm going to flatten them down because they're looking quite ragged. And this is going to be our jeans. And again, the jeans tend to have sort of seams on them, so you might want to just run a line down the edge of each one to show like the seams. And I'm going to put them just there. Then I'm going to make a body to sit on top of it. So this is kind of like how you did the teddy bear. So rolling a piece of that, and this is going to be my top, and I'm just going to measure it against it and see, yeah, that will be a right size. And we want that quite flat on the bottom there, and you might want to put some kind of creases on it, maybe on the back too, just like clothing would actually have. So that's going to be our body. Then we're going to do 2 arms. So I'll like rolling one piece, cutting it in half. I might have taken too much here. And I'm just going to make these ends slightly thinner. These are going to be where the shoulders are. I'm cutting it in half, but I can see these look too long for me, yeah. So I'm going to line them up together and just take a bit more of them. Again, use your template for this. Flatten them down. There we go. I'm going to make my shoes just now. A little bit of lump of the black. Roll a ball. I'm going to roll it into a sausage so I can cut it into 2 parts. And roll of these into an individual little sausage. And you can try that against the legs to see, and I think that's quite a nice size. So I'm kind of going to flatten them down, and then I'm going to, on the soles of them, I'm just marking a little heel like that. Flatten that down and mark a little heel. So they're going to be our shoes. I'm going to make a hood for this now. So another quite a small piece, roll it into a ball. I've made it kind of sausage shaped, and I'm going to flatten this down a little bit here, and I want it flatter towards, this is going to be the front bit here, the front of the neck. And then I'm going to just use this, a little cocktail stick, to stick that in there to make the back of it into a little hood. So I'm going to take my brush and my gum glue and put this on now. So a little bit of gum glue on the top of that, and just bring this bit over the front and just push a little hoodie on the back. So then I'm going to take my skin tone, and I think the first thing we'll do is make the neck. So we just need a very small piece of this for the neck, and you could use this to make a little hole where the neck's going to go, just in there, and it'll just make it sit more secure. Tiny little bit of gum glue. You can see the neck's very small, and we're just going to pop that in there like that. I'm going to have a wee look at the hands on this just now. So Again, small piece. I'm going to roll this into 2 sections like this and cut it in half. And I'm going to make them kind of teardrop shape like that. So the thin end is the wrist. Now you could use your little stick as well and just hollow out a little bit of a well there, just to where you can pop the wrist into it, and it just makes it more secure, rather, you know, so it's in something rather than just on it. So again, I'm going to put the gum glue up inside the little hollow we've just made. And I'm going to take a little hand and pop that in there. And then I'm going to just flatten it down a little bit. This one, I'm going to pop that into the little hole and flatten it down. And then I'm going to mark some fingers. So we don't want them to go the whole way up the hand. They're only going to go halfway up. So 3 lines will make 4 fingers. So that's 1, 2, 3. And the same on this one. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do a right and a left. So the thumbs would sit up here. So we didn't do this morning, but I'm going to add little thumbs. So again, tiny little gum glue up at these top parts. Small piece of this skin tone. And we're making it kind of thin at one end, thick at the other. So we're going to put the thick end up to the top, and that's giving you a little thumb. And that one there, a little thumb. And again, you might want to put in some wee creases for the elbows there, you know, where the bends are, so just do that. And likewise this side. And if you want to do some creases on the sleeves, just do it. So then I'm going to make the head before we go any further. So skin tone again, and this time I'm going to roll it into a sort of egg shape. I'm just going to check the size of that. I feel it's possibly a wee bit big, so I'm going to take some of that off. So I've got a little egg shaped head. And then I think we'll put ears on before we do anything. So gum glue on the side, tiny little bit skin tone, 2 little pieces, and plonk them on like that. And you might want to use the round end of your little skewer just to tuck them in a bit. And quite sticky out ears. And then where you're putting the eyes, so that it's really about halfway down the head, just roll a little hollow there. So can you see that? Little hollow, because your eyes sink in a bit. And do 2 little holes where you're going to put the white for the eyes. And at this point here we could do a little cheeky face. So maybe use your knife just to do a little curve this way and that way. And then maybe put a couple of wee smiley dents in it like that. Then we're going to take some white, tiny little bit of gum glue into the sockets for the eyes. And I'm just going to make 2 little eyeballs with that. Very small. And in they go. Another one, very small. And pop that in there. Oops, it's sticking to my fingers. Unfortunately, if you get gum glue on your hands, it does make everything stick to them. So before we do anything else, what I'm going to do is paint the eyelashes and the eyebrows on now. So again, I've taken this, as I say, the black, and I've just put a little bit of water on it, and I've taken a thin brush. I think the point of this brush would actually do if you wanted to use that. So I'm just going to paint a little line above the top of the eye like that, and again on this side. Sorry, my brush is splitting up. And then draw some eyelashes coming up if you want. And then a little eyebrow there. And a little eyebrow there. It's not the best brush, I'm afraid. And then again, very little gum glue here, just a tiny bit, because you don't want to smudge that off, and just work out where you're going to put the eyeballs, the actual black bits for them. A little bit of black. Just going to roll tiny, tiny wee bits and pop them in somewhere. So I'm going to have them. There we go. Going to pop that down. Sorry, it was sticking to my fingers there. And that's that. And then we do need a little nose there, so just pop that on. And a tiny wee bit of a very small piece for the nose. And pop that on. And if anything doesn't secure properly, just use your little stick to pop it down like that. So that's all our bits and pieces here. So now we're going to put it together. So we're going to take the jeans. It's a nice way. And we're going to use gum glue just to stick them together at that end. So squeeze them quite hard together at that end there. If you want to do some creases on the backs of the legs, you could use your bamboo skewer or your knife. Some creases there. Maybe bend them a little bit if you want. If you want to add some creases on your jeans. And we'll put the feet on. So again, we're using the gum glue on the soles. And you're doing the heel to the lower part and pop that on, and you can kind of just squeeze it up. And again, this one. Squeeze it up. So now we've got a little lower body, and we're going to use the gum glue to put the main body on. So again, this is going on top of this area here, and let this sort of stick out slightly at the back. So we're putting that on, push it down firmly, and then we're going to use, I've pre-cut my stick for this, so I'm going to put some gum glue on this and pop it right down the centre of the neck till I feel it hitting the surface underneath. Go right down. And that's us in. So I'm going to put the arms on before I put the head on. Gum glue on the sides. And if I lift them both together to put on, I can push against them so that I don't knock the figure over. So I'm going to push them in like that. I'm going to turn these hands round a bit. Might put this one on his knee like that. So you can make these go whatever way you want. Put more creases in it if you want. So his wee hands are sitting down. And then we're going to put the head on. So again, we need gum glue on the post there. And as I said, you might want to tilt the head ever so slightly. I'm going to tilt it that way. So in the centre at the bottom, and tilt the head slightly like that. And just make sure it's kind of firmly on. And last of all, we're going to do some hair. So again, first just gum glue up all the back of the head and all over it. And then I'm taking brown here. You make up whatever colour you want for your hair. And I'm going to roll a piece that is going to fit around the back of the head. So I'm going to flatten it down first. So just flatten it down. Use your dusted bag if you need it. This surface is a non-stick surface, so I don't really need to use that very much, but you might need to on your normal worktops. And I'm just going to mark some texture for hair. If you want it more curly, you can kind of wiggle it about kind of thing and do things. I'm just going to put some gum glue on that, even though I've done the back. And we're going to stick that around the back of the head. So, but don't bring it right over the top, leave a space at the top. So I'm putting that on and I'm just gently pushing that on. And then we're going to do the sides. So I'm going to do it as if it's got a parting here and a fringe coming over that way. So we're doing quite a long piece for this. I'm going to flatten it down, do some texture on it, and put it on there. And I'm going to twist it out slightly, just to give a wee feature. And a slightly smaller piece because this end's going to be shorter. Going to add a little bit of gum glue on that on the back. And I'm just going to put that on there. And again, I'm going to turn it, make it just flick out a little bit. And I do like a little kind of couple of wee loose bits coming across the forehead. So usually we just take a small piece, roll it into a kind of sausage and pinch it halfway up. And just put that over. And it just gives a wee kind of lick thing. So let's have a look, and there's your figure. You can see. If you've got any gaps on the back, just use your little brush, your little stick to go around and tidy it up like that. I'm going to actually, once you've decided where your hands are going to go, you might want to glue them down as well. Bit of gum glue, and then just leave it to sit. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you all get on making little figures yourself. Thank you for watching.